By the way, I'll show you this while I'm at it. This is a container and a sponge that I used to put Poppy's patina on the rat rod. And that sponge is about hard as a rock. Now I was wondering, you know, Poppy's patina it's wet and you rub it on, and when it gets dry it protects your car. And I was wondering how much tensile strength it has. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly or not, but that is a pretty good bit of strength. So that answers that question. Now, why does it matter? Well, it might matter for a project. You know, it's just like when I did the front of that boat, I had a hole in the front of the boat where this boat had run up against somebody's dock repeatedly for a long time, and it had busted through the rail and it had broken out the front of this boat. And I put some foam, some of that spray foam in here, and then trimmed it down and then covered it with a 2-part epoxy, which is, you know, and then I fiberglassed over it and I bondoed over it. Not bondo, but I put stuff over it that they use for boats, and I painted over it, and it's a pretty good hard place there now. Well, so the Poppy's patina, just knowing the properties of it could be handy, because somewhere down the road I might need a piece of foam to harden up, and the Poppy's patina would do the trick, and that's good to know. Now this container, see, this stuff is stuck in here. I could use this container again for Poppy's patina, so I'm going to save the container, put it over here for now. And that's just a lot of stuff to clean up. Like this container was probably used for, could have been used for the same thing. I bought me a farm jack the other day. That piece of paper can go in the garbage. And that's a piece of the old rub rail. Although I might want to save this. Now y'all might think I'm silly for saving these containers, but sometimes these containers that I have cut for various purposes, like obviously this was cut, well, I think this was cut to dip out water and pour it over something. So these can come in handy, and I've got a place out back where I put the containers like that. So I'll just put that right there for now. All right, I'm gonna stop talking, because if you keep listening to me, I'll be here explaining what I save and why I save it. Keep y'all busy all day, and you won't never get to church. So I'm just putting these pieces in the boat to do like a test fit, try to get an idea of what goes where and how it would work. Now that's the original pieces. And the piece that I'm probably going to have to make, well, I'm going to have to make this piece that goes down in this hole, but there's another bench that goes in the front. I'm not sure how far out that bench comes. Different boats have a different setup, but I'm going to need to cut the one that I have that goes across here, and probably I'll just cut the whole thing, sit it in there, and I might step over in the boat and give some thought as to what I want up there. These pieces are original to the boat, so they would have been from '63. That could be Brazilian mahogany, because back then you could harvest Brazilian mahogany. You can't anymore. It feels rather, I don't know, it feels like you'd expect a piece of wood to feel that's that old. I think what I might do is, instead of varnish, I might coat these with that Glove-It, because that will definitely seal it and strengthen it. And then cut one more board out of this piece of poplar that I have over here. and stain it for the other seat. And I might want to add a little reinforcement because it's not as strong as the mahogany, and it's not as thick. So I might want to build it up slightly. Although it's not a lot thinner. That's what I'm going to want to get my measurement from and cut that. So I'm going to want to go get me rather than haul that down there just to use the table saw, I'm going to go get me a framing square and a hand saw, skill saw, cut that piece, and then we'll study on what else we want to do with it. Larry told me this air compressor was do a lot of power. That's why he didn't use it over his house. He didn't have enough power. And with me running everything, including the air conditioner and this machine, the fan, and all that, it makes sense. But I don't need to run that all the time. I got enough air pressure in that to be good. And actually, I guess this plug is wired off a separate fuse. So I think that if I needed to, I could plug that into that, but I don't have to worry about it today. I got enough power to do it. All right, I'm going to cut y'all off and go measure and cut this piece of oak for that front hole on the boat, and then we'll kind of take a look and see where we're at after that.